Getting straight A's is simple, actually. You don't have to be the world's smartest student, and you certainly don't have to study 10 hours a day. But you do have to have an unbeatable strategy that will make you the top student, even when you don't like some subjects or are failing them. This is the exact strategy that got me straight A stars and 1A in 10 subjects in my very most recent exams. Exams are a war zone, right? Your opponent team can be stronger than you, but if your strategy is better than them, there's a good chance you can win. 1066 Battle of Hastings, and yes, I did get an A star in history. First part of the strategy is a brutal truth that you have to swallow and apply. Effort and time put into studying is not always equal to results. I'm saying that you can study one subject for hours and hours a week and barely even study another one and end up getting the same grade in them. In fact, you should be doing that. Let me explain. Difference a lot of the time between the top students and the average ones isn't even about natural intelligence. Sometimes it's about knowing yourself, where your strengths and where your weaknesses are, and what you're going to do about them. Okay, so we're going to make this interactive. If you're serious about getting straight A's, I need you to get a pen and paper and write down all of the subjects you're taking in order of hardest for you to easiest for you. Keyword being for you. Not how hard other people find it, not how hard it's traditionally found, but how hard you find it. If you're curious, here's my list. Pause the video now if you want to do it. Now that you've got this list, you can now identify how much effort you're going to put into each subject. You might think that because we got straight A's, that must mean we must have spent an equal amount of effort on each and every subject. The worst study advice that I have seen some teachers give to students is to spend the same amount of time studying each and every subject. Total time waster. If I find English language much easier than maths, why would I spend the same amount of time studying them? No entiendo. It doesn't make sense. Now on the graph, I'm plotting the amount of time and effort that I put into each subject represented by a bar. The bigger the bar, it means just more effort that I've put in. Now again, we're making it interactive. I want you to guess which ones, solely based on this graph of effort, that I got higher in and that I got lower in. You can go ahead, pause now, put your guesses in the comment section. Do not worry, I will not get offended. Straight A's are still straight A's. Real grades coming in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Were you expecting that? Someone who has absolutely no idea about me might think I got a higher grade in maths because, gee, look how much effort I was putting in. I was studying maths like 7 to 8 hours a week, excluding school time, sometimes pushing 9 or 10. I don't mean to flex, but English language? Maybe I studied English language once a month. Because I know myself and I know that if I do not study maths like that, then that grade would be significantly lower. I think that one of the main reasons people might struggle to get straight A's is because they're not willing to assess their strengths and their weaknesses. Second part of this formula is to not do what I'm about to say. Okay, in year 9, right, I would do a science test, flop it miserably, and then throw the paper in the bin because it's just such an awful reminder of how hard I find science. I would do that and then I would sit there and wonder why I'm not getting straight A's. Sorry to call my past self out, but that is what you call stupidity. Yes, it's painful to look at a test you flopped, but do you not realize that that test in your hands literally has a personalized study list? Studying can be really intimidating, especially if you don't know where to start. But if you look at a test you flopped and pinpoint the exact mistakes you were making, you don't have to flop that miserably next time. And if you want a personalized study guide, link to this video here where I help you make one. But when you're looking for mistakes, you've got to be smart about how you do it. Third part of the formula is how to look for mistakes. So obviously this is going to vary from subject to subject, but your goal now is to categorize the mistakes that you've been making. The simplest example that I can give is maths. For maths, in my opinion, there are really only two mistakes that you can make. It's either the first one, okay? A silly mistake. That might be reading the question wrong, forgetting to convert your units, accidentally saying 8 times 3 is 12, or misreading your own 6 as a 0. Believe me, I have been there and done all of these mistakes. We call them silly mistakes because deep down, you know the correct answer. You just weren't looking or thinking carefully enough to get it. Deep down, I know that 8 times 3 is 24. My brain just panicked and said it was 12. Or at least I hope I know my times tables. The second type of mistake you can make is genuinely not knowing what to do for a question. If I get a trinomial expansion question, but I genuinely don't know how to expand trinomials, then it's not a silly mistake because it's not like you knew it in the first place and you need to go back and learn it. The way that I finessed an A star in maths was by identifying what percentage of the marks that I lost in my papers were silly mistakes and what percentage of the marks lost was a genuine lack of knowledge, and then working on it from there. But even so, there is a method to do this even more efficiently. Step 4 of the straight A strategy is to come up with your own grandmaster plan based off of your categorized mistakes. I'll give you an example. There are 2 ways that you can get marks in GCSE AQA Sociology. You can either get marks in the short, easy recall questions where they're like, what is racism? Give an example of social class inequality. But then you can also get marks on the essay-based questions, which come up in every paper and is worth about 50% of your grade. The catch is that it's very hard to get high in a 12-mark essay. We write our essays very different in sociology than to English or history. So my teacher advised most of the class the best strategy to pass, which was focus on answering the few mark easy recall questions perfectly, because all you have to do there is memorize. Then just try your best on the essays, but don't expect to get full marks on them. But the thing is that you could probably get the same grade from the opposite technique. Get full marks on all of the essays and then skim through the shorter recall questions. But it's just a harder strategy. Your goal is to pick the easiest strategy with the least amount of effort needed. There will still be effort put in, but don't put it in places that it's not going to pay off. I'll give another example, okay? Quite personal to me. English language, I got a grade 9, A star in, and I scraped that grade 9, by the way. I was 2 marks off an 8. The only reason why I managed to scrape that grade 9 is because I focused on the questions worth more of my grade. So kind of similar to sociology, we have 4 questions at the beginning of the paper that aren't worth that many marks, and then we have 1 really big question at the very end of the paper that's worth literally half of your grade. Wanna guess what question I put all of my energy and attention on? Question 4 is also worth quite a bit of marks, but not as much as question 5. But okay, see, question 4 and question 5 are literally worth 75% of your grade for English language. If you can't get those 2 questions good, I need you to understand that you are cooked. You have flopped the exam before you have even sat it. The issue is with English and with many other subjects like sociology or history or whatever, is that there is not enough time. And the big question that's literally worth half your grade for English is structured to be at the back of the paper. The exam boards do that on purpose. They know that some people are going to go through it from a logical order and start with question 1, spend too much time on question 2, spend too much time on question 3. By the time they get to question 4 and 5, where the real marks are, there's barely any time left. Step 5 of the method is gaining time awareness and making your own time strategy personalized to you for these exams. Time is our most valuable resource. We will never get it back. The same applies for in a test, okay? It's the piece of paper, your brain, and the clock all battling it out in that exam hall. Your brain has not only got to defeat that piece of paper, it's also got to defeat the clock in front of you. How many times, okay, have you walked out of an exam being like, Ugh, I could have gotten so much higher if there were just more time. The exam boards know this. That's why they have those strict time limits. That's why they put the questions worth more marks at the back of the flipping paper. I cannot lie when I tell you that a good percentage of all of the grades I got was literally just my fast writing. Since year 7, I have been the biggest nerd. Because of that, I'd always try and finish the work first. And over the course of 5 years, that made my writing speed really bloody quick. But what if you don't have 5 years, okay? What if the exam is way closer than that and you just need a quick boost to up your grade? This video might be able to help, okay? Go obliterate that paper and let me know when you do.